Pat, look at that camera right there, and tell the good people about your take on Reverend Wright and versus Barack Obama.
Mark, you had to make it controversial.
We got to.
It's not Reverend Wright versus Barack Obama. It's Barack Obama, Reverend Wright, and the whole black community versus the white, racist, supremacist, male-owned and controlled corporate media in America. Woo! And that is who has instigated this entire event. And unfortunately, because some people refuse to stand on principle and they see the goal as being more important, they have acquiesced to the whims of this entity.
Real quick, do you think that Reverend Wright should have said what he said at the National Press Club on that day, or should he just held back and went sat down and be quiet for a while?
I hear a lot of people saying that I agree what he said, but he shouldn't have said it there.
Right.
And I think that people need to understand what they are saying when they say that. You are giving the National Press Club reverence, more reverence than you do the sanctuary of Trinity Church or many black churches in America, in that Reverend Wright talks like this all the time.
Right.
So why should he have changed for that day?
Right. So I agree with that, but the point is that
he should have said it. He should have been consistent. But I think what people also were surprised at, because I've talked to a lot of people, and I mean they're very concerned, and what is hurting them is the divide. Of course, they did not want to see our leaders, people that both like and admire and we need in our community, to be divided. But I tried to empathize, and even though I'm not a member of Trinity, I tried to empathize and put myself in Reverend Wright's position in totality. One is how this all started, in terms of he was preaching in his sanctuary as he normally does, and someone decided that something he said during one of his sermons was worthy of being put up on YouTube. With this as skewed, not saying, oh, look how the black preachers preach. It was skewed. It already had a meaning to it. Then from there, after them even playing it on the news and giving warning labels, they would first, preface it with what you're about to see could be, interpreted as being violent, whatever. Basically, get the children out the room. So now that gets everybody's attention because you got this crazy guy. So they pretty much set it up, and I know it's set up when I see one. Right. Then from that point, he made a decision, as it played and played and played, and they trying to inch Barack to denouncing. What people have to understand is every black man that has attempted to attain a powerful position in this country has to pass the boogeyman test.
The boogeyman test.
And the boogeyman is always another black man that white men are afraid of.
First it was Minister Louis Farrakhan. First is the Farrakhan test. You like that Farrakhan?
Right.
Yeah, that's the first question.
And what we need to understand is that what they're telling us is who they're afraid of. Right. Instead of us adapting to or agreeing with, these are boogeymen, or denouncing it, they're revealing to us. See, we have to understand how to interpret certain things. So getting back to how this all got started, so then I apparently Pastor Wright made a decision to go on the offense, and he had a conversation with Bill Moyer, which a lot of people don't even understand how much they have in common. They belong to the same denomination. So they had a conversation. Then after that, that was televised because that was intentional, that was public. Then at the NAACP, that was the choice that the media made. How many dinners of the NAACP nationally, yearly, does the entire media televise to that extent? Not too many. He may be in attendance, but it's like, oh, there's nothing said here. And then when he agreed to go before the National Press Club, a lot of individuals were nervous. And the nervousness, I think, was rooted in the fact that they feel insecure because of the reverence that they give the National Press Club. And so upon viewing that, I witnessed that the initial statement that Reverend Wright, Pastor Wright gave, it was not only excellent, it was intellectually superior.
Yes.
They could not comprehend.
It was brewing. It was brewing.
They did not understand what he said. Now, how did we know that? Because the questions that were asked of him after he gave it, none of those questions were pertaining to what he had just said. None of them.
No, but you would agree, and the sound bites they used in the evening news were his answers to the questions. They didn't even show you any of his original presentation.
The reason why they wouldn't do that is because they don't want you to see that this guy has some sense. They have to keep perpetuating
the boogeyman.
They have to keep perpetuating the image that they are putting out there.
The crazy uncle.
Now, as a black man, I'm just trying to put myself in this position. As a black man of his age, of his caliber, who has been speaking as long as he has been speaking, who has mastered 4 languages, I commend him for containing himself as long as he did.
Right.
Because I can understand why a lot of people may have gone into another language they would have called profanity. You know, because what they did to him afterwards was an insult, not just to him.
Yes.
It was an insult to us. But I will commend Trinity Church of Christ for supporting him, because what I saw at the press club was something that we have not witnessed since the Marcus Garvey days, and that's what I call a Marcus Garvey move. When you know that you're going into a venue that is either hostile, or you know that they are going to speak on a topic that is adverse to our interests, you come early and you take up all the seats.
Yeah.
Not only did they take up the seats, he had a marching band there. Did you see that?
Excellent.
And that was part of him trying to demonstrate. That was like a graphic. Instead of using a PowerPoint, he had live point. And so it was obvious, in my opinion, what he did. It was so intellectually superior. It was like off the Richter. They didn't know what the heck he was talking about. So then he decided, because he is a communicator,
right,
I have to break this down. I have to break this down for everybody.
Right.
So that's when he went into we got this thing in our community called playing the dozens.
Yeah.
He broke it down. And when he talked about the few little statements that he made about Barack being a politician, I brushed them off because
Barack's a politician.
The last time I looked, somebody voted for him.
And he got to say those things because he's a politician.
But the last time I looked, somebody voted for him.
Right.
So the last time I looked, he was being very careful in his language, as they call it. He was putting spins on it from a political perspective, not to make a certain group of people upset, because it seemed to me, it really didn't matter how black people felt. No. It seemed to me that his campaign is totally focused on catering and pandering to a specific group that he feels in this election has more value than we have because of the numbers that they represent. And that in turn pretty much justified everything Pastor Wright said. Everything he said. 2
quick points on we're in this segment with you. I could talk to you forever, but you have to go to Milwaukee.
Yes, I do.
You're about to run out of
here.
And
I'm late.
I love it. I'm glad you're here. The bottom line, many African Americans who were upset at Reverend Wright, they know that, I think they sort of know Barack has to be homogenized. But like I say, if Barack has to be a homogenized individual to be president, that keeps us, if you will, on the margins. I'm not saying that's good or bad, but we marginalized, okay? So I'm saying, if Reverend Wright can't say what he has to say, he has to tone his rhetoric for Barack to be president. What I'm trying to say, it ain't really worth it. You understand what I'm saying?
That's a personal judgment, and I think it's all gonna come out in the wash. But as a people, I think we need to really still ask the question: what is at stake for these people to go to these lengths to tell these lies to discredit this man? And what is really here, and I have to say it, is transgenerational guilt.